everybody, I'm going to do a chicken dish. Yeah, that's right, chicken. I'm going to do a chicken dish for you. I've never done this recipe before. I've seen it done several different times, several different ways. And I thought, I want to try it, see what it's like. But I thought, well, let's just let you be the guinea pig too. And we'll just go along for the ride. All right, so we're going to be putting it in this cast iron pan. So we want to get our cast iron pan on the fire. And we got a really hot fire, folks, and the difference in between our high and low on our knob is the difference, the heat in the skillet. So if the skillet gets cooking too hot, I have to pull it off the fire and put it back on. There's no high-low knob that's to speak of. All right, we got this chicken, and we got 3 chicken breasts here. And you might want to zoom in here and show everybody how I'm going to prep this chicken. I've done some other meat this way, and so we're going to go ahead and get this done. What we want to do is do some cross hatches, not all the way through the chicken, but about 3/4 of the way through. Like that. And then we want to turn it and do some more like this. Now you got to be careful with chicken, folks, so that it don't dry out. And this obviously ain't going to help that situation. But you want it so that it comes out like this, where it's open little chunks. All right. And then we want to dredge that in some flour. We don't want to really just coat it heavy in flour. We just want to get just a little bit on there. And we don't want a big coating, just slightly different. And that one I might have cut a little too much, folks. It's kind of coming apart just a little bit. All right, folks. Okay, we're going to let that kind of sit for a minute. And we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil to our skillet. And we're going to put about a tablespoon of butter, or about a 1/2 inch slice off this stick of butter. So about like that. Almost didn't make it, folks. All right, while that's all getting hot, I'm going to go to our side. We're going to be doing asparagus tonight, folks, and I use these aluminum pans a lot because it's just easy cleanup. In here we've got asparagus with a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to put about a 1/2 cup of water. We're going to put a tablespoon of garlic and just a little bit of salt and pepper. Just kind of the taste. And that's really all we're going to do with this. And I can hear my butter getting hot over there. We're kind of going to steam this, so we want to seal this up like we've done. I think we've done broccoli for y'all before this way. This is a shortcut way. It's an easy cook way. It's just really simple. We'll stick that on there while we get things going for our chicken. Lisa, if you go grab me a spatula, because I ran off and forgot the spatula. And while she's going to do that, we're going to stick this chicken breast on there. Now we're going to put the uncut side down, okay? And that's not going to take long, folks. It's really, really, really hot. So it's not going to take very long for that to cook. And we'll pull it off on a little low for a little bit. And it's one thing about cooking outside, folks. I love cooking outside, but you don't have a high and low knob. You do control your fire and the different ways that you have your fire, but you don't really turn something up and turn it down. Even in cast iron, you can't turn it up and turn it down very much. Now, I don't like using metal in cast iron, folks, but this skillet is due a good re-seasoning. Give that a little flip. Alright. We're just kind of going to let that sit there and simmer just a minute off the fire. But to that pan, we're going to add a couple of different things. We want to add a couple of more tablespoons of butter, about that much butter. And I'm that kind of guy. I'm not really a measuring kind of cook, if you will. But we've got a teaspoon of garlic and a teaspoon of thyme. We've got 2 tablespoons of pure cane syrup. And this is a recipe I saw, and I thought we would try it. I'm going to do a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of soy, and about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Take a little bit away from the sweetness. And that's all this recipe called for, folks. And that's it. Emmett says he hopes this turns out. Again, you're the guinea pig here along with us. As we saute this chicken, we'll let y'all get to doing something different, and we'll come back shortly. Everybody, welcome back. We got that chicken seared off, and we moved it from the direct heat. We moved it a little bit to the offset side to let it finish off just a little bit, because the fire was really hot, folks. And like I was telling you earlier, you don't have a high and low. You have just the distance from the heat to your skillet. That's really how you regulate your heat. So I moved it off there to finish it up. I apologize a little bit if I rushed through that video. I worry about these videos getting too long for you and you not being entertained enough. I don't know that I'm an entertaining guy. I don't tell jokes and a bunch of stuff when I'm out here cooking. But when I talked about this recipe and I talked about pure cane syrup, don't use a pancake syrup, don't use a waffle syrup, don't use anything that has a flavor. This right here is a brand called Steens. I believe that's how you pronounce it. 100% pure cane syrup. It's just syrup. There's no additives in there. There's no flavoring. There's nothing like that. It's pure and natural. And it's going to give you the right flavor. You can also use honey with this. You could use an agave nectar. You could do something like that if those are things that you like to do. All right. Now, before we pull that chicken out of the skillet, it's kind of resting there a little bit and coming down from the heat. You got to remember, we got this asparagus doing here. So let's go grab this asparagus. And again, I love these old pans, these little cheap foil pans. For around the house and cooking like this, they just make cleanup so much easier. And you store them away. You know, obviously if you're doing something different, and that was a little hot, folks. Obviously if you're doing an event, you gotta kind of cook more traditionally, but this is definitely good and hot. I'm feeling the steam off of that right now. Yeah, that looks pretty good and pretty al dente. All right, and we're gonna do a little plate for you this evening. Those of you that watched me before, y'all know I I played a little bit. Some people say fancy, but I do like to, I guess you could say, show off my food a little bit. I do like to play with my food and have a good presentation. Set this over here to keep it warm. After I spilled the juice out on my foot. And let's get one of these chicken breasts. These are a little tender because of the way we cut them, folks. Let's go ahead and polish up this plate. Got a lot of chuck wagon cooks going, boy, what are you doing? I'm just making it pretty. So Lisa, this is what the folks are going to have. We got our chicken breast. And we cut it that way. I'm sure there's a culinary term for that. We cooked it in that pure cane syrup, so that's the darkness to it because it's the soy made it dark. Hadn't tasted it yet, but we will. But there's our evening meal, folks. And we're going to keep playing with this recipe until we get it down pat. The last thing before we go, I just want to thank the good folks that keep me employed for the hat. And I'm wearing this hat right now in hopes that Hunter Orange brings some cool weather soon to get the deer scurrying around. But just thought we would bring this cap out here to do it. Emmett said we need to do everything we can to wish some cooler weather into the territory. We got a rain cloud, seems like it's coming up. I hate to say anything about it because it may not rain. But just like I did today, experiment, try something new. This isn't a proven recipe, and I did it on a video in front of you. So just don't be afraid to try something. You see something, make it your own. And folks, like we end every video we got, enjoy your food.